Hello everyone, my name is Jeanette Cronin. I'm a makeup artist in Cork City. I work out of Tiger Boutique up in Blackpool, but I'm also a freelance artist. Today we're here with lovely Anita. We've started already, so don't worry. We've started carving out her eyebrows. So we put on number 90 gel eyeliner by Inglot. It's a waterproof gel eyeliner, so if you get emotional or get caught in the rain, you'll still be fine. So we've just put this on her brows, and then we're just carving out the edges with a Tiger Boutique brush. So this brush set is €80. You get 14 brushes in it. So this is a nice one for carving out the brows. And I've just used number 92 under eye concealer by Inglot as well, just to carve it out. It's an under eye concealer that's not too light because Anita is quite dark, so we don't want to make it too stark, but we still want to make the brow nice and sharp, like so. I'm going to use a 4SS brush by Inglot with the same product and put that all over the eye, and this is going to act like a primer for the eyeshadow. So this is nice if you have like drier skin. Anita's on the drier side, so I'm just going to put this on. It'll soak it up, but we're still going to set it with the powder. So it's really important to do eyes first, because if there's any fallout or anything, we can clean it up. And plus, especially for brides, you don't want to have your hands all over your face because that will just ruin the skin. So if you're not on the drier side, you can use an eye base, like any of the paint pots by MAC or the Inglot eye base as well. Doesn't necessarily have to be concealer. It's just that this is a lighter consistency. Oh, sorry. So Anita's skin will soak it up. So what you want to do then is set this with powder. So I'm going to be using, this is an Inglot palette, but these are the Push eyeshadows. They're an Irish brand. So I love this brand. These eyeshadows are €10 each. They're so pigmented. These and the Inglot shadows are my favourite. So this is the Push one. It's called Rice. And I'm just going to close there for me. Pat down at my ring finger, just make sure everything is nice and smooth. Yeah, and that's our eyes prepped, ready to go. As well, like Anita has good brows anyway, but if you don't, it's really important to do brows first because you're going to get the shape that everything flows. You want your brow to start here, from the dimple of your nose up. You want it to end back here. See? So this lifts your cheekbone, this slims the nose, and then get a good all arch for yourself as well, because that's just like Botox really and cheaper. So we're going to use a mixture of these shadows by Push. It's Transition TO and Tory by Push. I'm going to use a bit of Savannah as well. And then, God, your eyes are a fab colour because there's like a hint of green in her eyes. Might even put in a bit of cranberry just to make that pop even more. But you want to start with the lightest shade first and have that higher up, and then as you go darker, you're going to go lower down then, and your brush is going to get smaller. That's the trick to makeup, all makeup. So we're going to start, actually I'm going to start with the peachy colour because that's going to fade into skin colour. This is Phoebe. You're not even going to see this, so have it high up on the brow bone. So we're going really glam today on Anita, because I'd say this would be your personality, wouldn't it? When you get married, do you want like your makeup like really full on and glamorous? Do you want to look like Kim Kardashian?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, don't we all? So this is what we're doing. So I'm going to go in with the next darker tone now. I think brides have really like changed in the last, I'd say, 2 or 3 years max. Like it's a lot different now, you know, you don't have to go for the natural pretty look or the vintage look anymore. There's a lot more options open to you, and I think as makeup artists as well, we need to be a lot more varied in our styles as well. So I'm kind of known for this look, so this suits me. So I like it. So a lot of my brides go this glam, and I think anyone who books with me likes this kind of look. But you can do it in a way that's still tasteful. It doesn't have to be like a clubbing look, you know. Look up there for me. I think if your blend is good, you know, you can still have it as smoky as you like once your blend is really good. With your blend as well, the lighter your touch, the better your blend. So where you hold your brush is really important. If you hold your brush back here, you're in control, or your brush is in control. So you want to like swing it like that. If you're holding your brush up here, your arm is moving and your brush, you're rubbing, you know. It's like your brush is pointless. So have it back here, have it like really, really light touch, and then your blend will be best. Close there for me again. Can you see the way we're building up the intensity bit by bit and getting darker as we go down? If you could have one brush per colour as well, that's a really good tip. If you are holding your brush up here, once you balance your hand on their face, it's absolutely fine because you're still doing the same light touch. It's just closer. The look I'm doing today as well is actually one of the looks from our menu. that I designed at Tiger Boutique. So we opened this weekend. And it's called the Rebecca. So I named all my looks after my clients, and I have them as my models for the menu, which is quite nice. So this is like blown out glam, but I think it's really fitting for bridal. I'm just blending this out that little bit more. See the way this brush is smaller and this one's a bit bigger, so I'm just like blending it out with the bigger one. So you don't see any harsh edges. Look up there for me. You want everything to flow, and look straight ahead. You want everything to flow from the lash line, bottom lash line, out and up. And I bring my blend down as far as the end of your eyeball. So everyone has different sized eyeballs, but if you bring it down to the end of here, you should be fine. And don't be afraid to bring your blend right down, because I think that's what makes everything look really, really smoky and really, really cool. So the way I'm going in now with the Tiger Boutique brush, and this is just a smaller version of the other brushes we used, and we're bringing that down a little bit lower, but in the same direction. So from the lash line out, around and up, and then into the crease. Now, so you want it to be darkest out here, so because you want everything to lift. So bring it out, around and up. So where you place your brush first is where you deposit most of the product. So that's why I'm placing it out here first. And I'm going in with the same fluffy brush, the 6SS by Inglot, buffing it all out again. The trick to makeup is like put a little bit on, blend, put another little bit on, blend. Same process again. This is another Tiger Boutique brush. This is the smaller version, and we're going in with Savannah now. This is the darker colour. So we're going to put it in the same place. So start on the outside. Hold the eyebrow up, and it's like underneath the other colours, so it just naturally blends into them then. So it's like you're going out almost to like the end of the eyebrow and then up and around. And then just blend in those edges. And just as we did with the other colours, we're bringing it underneath and connecting it as well. So I'm blending this colour out with this brush because this was the next one up. So this was darker, this was the next darker shade, and then this is kind of like a clean brush around the edges. So now I'm going in with a smaller brush again. So, but this is the 10S by Inglot. This is like the other one, but it's a bit more firm. So even though I'm using the same product, it's going to make it darker because it's more dense. This is the best brush. And because this is a different brush, even though it's the same colour, it comes across, it's a darker payoff. So your brushes do matter. The denser the brush, the more product it's going to pack on. Boom. Now. So now I'm going to go in with number 77 gel eyeliner by Inglot. This is €15 and it is the best black gel liner there is ever. So I'm going to put this into our waterline now underneath, and we're going to smoke that out with black shadow. It's really important to do, if you are smoking out underneath, that you do it first before your top liner, because all the looking up is out of the way. Because if we did the top liner first, then did underneath, she looks up and she gives herself a black line up here, and we don't want that. So we're going to do this first. So you want to put this in the waterline and onto the lash line a bit, because we want to drag this down. And to be honest, like, I know it's your wedding day, but like most of the brides I do want this. And the way we're going to blend it out is going to be really, really cool and really, really smoky. So it's not going to be like a black line at all. So don't be scared. I'm going in with a 32T. This is a pointed detail brush by Inglot, and I'm going to smoke that all out. And you want to do one eye at a time with this as well, because if I went onto the other eye and put the gel liner in that eye, by the time I come back to smoke this out, it's dry and it's just a line, and there's nothing you can do about that. So drag it down with the black shadow, and then we're going to get a rounded detail brush by Inglot, the 13P, on some of the brown shade we used earlier, the Savannah, and we're going to go along the edges of that black, and we're going to drag that down a bit more. And then we lose the black line is gone. And I'm going to go along those edges then with the warmer shade then from the Push palette to drag that out. See? Starts to change already. So now I'm going to mix my gel liner with a bit of Duraline. This is €12 from Inglot. If you struggle with liner, or actually if you're doing gel liner at all, you actually need to mix this in with it if you're doing it on top. It's just a serum, and you just get like a bit of your Duraline, a bit of your liner, and it just turns it into a liquid, but it dries quicker. So, so you can look up and you don't give yourself that black line. So we're not going to do a flick with this look at all. We're just going to fade our liner into like black shadow on the outside. So close there for me. This liner brush is amazing. It's actually part of the Tiger Boutique set for €80. I've never used an angled liner brush until now, but I love it. So we're just lining the eye, and I'm just bringing it up in like almost like a straight line, diagonal. It's like if the socket was coming down, it's like almost like where it starts to come back down. It's like in the middle there, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Yeah, that point. So you want to go from the inner corner in here being really thin to like the middle here. Like, show me. See? And before that dries, we're going to drag it out with the black shadow with the same brush we used underneath to drag out the black. So we're just pushing it out there. And then I'm just going to get the rounded detail brush, the 13p, and I'm going to, with a bit of black shadow, and I'm going to bring it up into the crease there. And it's around the shape of the eyeball itself, and this brush does the work for you. Same on this eye, but if you're right-handed like me, this way to get your flow, you're going to go back this way. The more you do this kind of liner, the more you'll figure out where it goes on your eye itself. And if any of you struggle with a wing, do this instead, it's way easier. So again, black shadow on the 32T by Inglot. And you're like pushing that out so we don't see the line anymore. And it's like we're gonna bring it up into the socket there in that shape. And I'm doing the same thing again with the rounded detail brush, the 13p. And blend that out then with the warm brown. See the way this is, like, it's dark and smoky, but it's actually really wearable. I don't think it's too OTT at all. See the way the blend is? I'm just going around the edges though. Look straight ahead for me. Making sure that flow is all there. And as I said earlier, because Anita's eyes, there's like, oh, they're piercing. If we put a bit of cranberry, because that's red is opposite on the colour wheel to green. If we put a bit of that on, it'll make them like even more piercing. So I'm going to go in with a hint of cranberry. So I'm going to use Bonnie by Push, this guy here, and just like a crown fluffy brush. And this isn't, it's just to give that hint of cranberry. So it's just really, really lightly along the edges. And because this is a really fluffy brush, it's not like packing on too much product, it's just giving a hue. Look up there for me. I'm going to do along the edges as well. And now I'm going to blend all those edges again. This is just a clean brush. I'm just going to go back in with my gel liner and look down there for me and over at me. Just get into those inner corners in here. And down over this side for me. Going in with a little bit more gel liner on the waterline just to make it even more black. This gel as well, once it dries, it's waterproof. So if it is your wedding and you do get a bit like, it's so emotional, then it's fine. It's totally fine. Okay, so if you're a bride, I would recommend you get lash extensions because it's easier. And if you do get emotional, because glue can tend to, your lash can come up a little bit if it's not put on properly and if you're like bawling. But if you have lash extensions, then it's really nice for a wedding day and they photograph really well. I go to Miss Diva in Ballincollig all the time and send all my brides there. She's amazing. But if you are using strip, I like to use the likes of these. These are Buff and Blend. These are an Irish brand as well. It's a makeup artist from Dublin called Nicola who makes them. And they're like a faux mink lash. They're €15 each, but they are so amazing. And they look at your tail wagging. Yeah. And they're like double layered. They're just unreal. So if you are a bride, this is what I use. Rather than just like normal, you know, chemist lashes or whichever. These are just like that a little bit extra. You can use these up to 30 times and they're just unreal. When you're taking off lashes as well, push your thumb down into to get it off. So we're just going to measure this up now. When you're measuring lashes on a client, just make, ooh, do that again, look down. When you're measuring lashes on a client, make sure you get them to look down as opposed to closing. Because if your eye is closed, it's a smaller space, whereas if you're looking down, your eye is more taut and it's a wider space. Don't cut off too much either, cut off a little bit at a time, because down, you can always cut off a little bit more, but you can't add it back on. Straight ahead. Another trick with lashes, if you look down there for me, so what we're going to do is just place the lash on a minute, and we're going to get the glue to go tacky here. It's going to go tacky here, and in a minute when we stick it back on, it'll be like Velcro. And while that's happening, I'm going to put some strobe cream by MAC all over her face so that glows through her foundation. Yeah, so I'm just putting this on with a stipple brush. How your skin is really important, especially on your wedding day. So look after your skin in the run up to your wedding. Don't get your eyebrows waxed either the day before, because your makeup won't stick above your eyebrows. But like, go to a good skin person. Yeah, just make sure you drink lots of water. Like, if you get a blemish or whatever, it's not the end of the world, makeup can cover it, but you know, you just want your eyes to be shining and your skin to be in good nick. And I wouldn't recommend to try any new like skincare or anything, you know, directly before your wedding. You know, have it like, if it's something new, make sure it's done like a little bit before, just in case you have a reaction. That's the same with if eyelash extensions. You know, don't try them for the first time, you know, when like the week before your wedding, because God forbid you're allergic to the glue or anything like that. If there's any hairs on your brush, just get a clean mascara wand and you can just wipe them away. So now the glue is tacky, so look down for me. Just look down. No, you okay? Yeah. You're stuck on anyway. There's no getting rid of those. Down again. Boom. Now, okay, so that glue is going to dry clear. So we're going to go in now with, this is number 77 HD foundation by Inglot. All of the Inglot foundations don't have any SPF in them, so that's really important, especially on your wedding day, because SPF flashes back in flash photography. So if you've ever been on a night out and you're Mahog and you have a white face, that's probably why. And you're like, I thought it was Mahog. You weren't. It's the SPF in your foundation. So I'm using the foundation brush from the Tiger Boutique brush set. And I'm really just buffing this in. So this brush is really dense, so I'm just really just buffing it in so that it's going to be afraid to move. I'm going to keep the eye area free. We're going to use an under eye concealer there. You can see the coverage this gives. It's really full coverage, but it's lightweight on the skin, so it doesn't feel heavy. You can smile and it won't feel like your face will crack. Having the strobe cream underneath will just give that lovely glow. So primer is really important. If you're on the oily side, and the Oil Control Lotion by MAC is really good. And funnily enough, the Nivea for Men post-shave balm is a really good primer if you have normal skin. To oily, to even a bit dry, it actually suits a lot of skin tones. It's really good, yeah. When you get to the hairline, you can just push it up with your fingers. My pet peeve is like having that orange ring around your hairline. Oh, it freaks me out because I'm so blonde as well. But if you just push it up with your fingers, just as bad as having like a gap, you know, when you're afraid to bring it up to your hairline. So just move it in with your fingers. And you see Anita's got a lovely glow from her skin now because the strobe cream is on underneath. Right, so we're going to go in with some under eye concealer now. This is number 92 by Inglot. It's a little bit lighter than Anita, but it's not super white. Especially on your wedding day, you don't want like super white under your eye. Like, we'll still contour and highlighter to death, but like just not a really white under eye at all. Using a 4SS brush by Inglot, and we're going to place it on top of where her foundation ended. It's there. But we're also going to do a little bit down the centre of the face as well. You don't want it just being bright under the eye and nowhere else. So what we're going to do is I'm going to blend out here, little circular motions, and just like with the eyes, you know, hold your brush back here so it's a really, really light touch. Just little circular motions. Same here. And I blend down the centre of the face first because I want most of the product to be gone from the brush and it nearly to be dry. If the brush is too wet, when we start blending this up to meet our shadow, it's going to wreck our blend. So we want to bring it up really, really, really slowly. But it doesn't necessarily have to be loads of product, you know. So just bring it up bit by bit by bit. This is why we had the peach colour on first with the eyeshadow. So remember I was saying you're not even going to see this in a minute because it just fades into skin colour. This is why, and this is why you bring your blend out really far. Just like with on top, you know, when we had the liner skinnier here and got wider, got thicker even towards the edges. It's the same principle underneath. You don't want loads of product being here in the inner corners. You want it to go down and get kind of wider and then go out. So that's why I'm bringing the concealer up that little bit higher in the inner corner up in here. But those lashes, even though they're like really, really full, they're really lightweight, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
We are going to set her under eye concealer now with number 42 HD powder by Inglot. This stuff is amazing. 43 is a bit more yellow toned. This is a bit more peachy, but it reflects the light, if you can see that, and it's just a dust. So it's just beautiful to set the under eye area, especially if you are like over 30 like myself too. So now look up there for me. So you just pat with your ring finger, make sure everything is nice and smooth, and then bam, set it in place. And same here, bam. Then we're going to go in with MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in medium to set everywhere else. Just really, really lightly, just to make sure, just patting it down, just so it's not wet foundation anymore, because we're going to go in with the powder contour now. So if we were to put a powder contour onto wet foundation, it's just going to stick to it and it's just going to be stripy. This is Give Me Sun by MAC. It's a gorgeous bronzer, and I'm using the contour brush by Inglot. This is the 36 BJF. And we're going to bronze up the face. This bronzer I think suits absolutely everybody, every skin tone. And because it's the mineralized as well, it's kind of luminous. Just photographs really well. And it's like mineralized skin finish, it's called. So like, looks like skin. Now I'm going to go in with my HD Sculpting Powder by Inglot. This is 507 on a 15 BJFS brush. It's basically the synthetic blusher brush by Inglot because you can squeeze it. I really like it for contouring. So I'm going to go along the cheekbone. I'm going to go in with a darker contour shade in a minute, but I'm doing the same principle like we did on the eyes. Lighter colour, medium colour, darker colour, and one fades into the other. It's like Russian dolls. The HD Sculpting Powders by Inglot as well. They're also a bit luminous, so they just give a lovely glow, and it's like, it's HD, just like for like photography and stuff, you know. So they're really finely milled. Yeah, she's dark enough. I'm going to go in with 512. This is the darkest in the HD Sculpting Powders by Inglot. It's a real chocolatey shade, but I'm gonna like wipe it off my hand a little bit because these are so pigmented. And I'm just going to do a little bit. Do you want to turn your head this way for me? Just a little bit, just in the centre of the cheek. If your cheeks are sunken, they're not sunken from your ear, they're sunken from like the middle of your cheek. So it's all, makeup's all an optical illusion. So if you just put like a little bit there, it's like, yeah, see, it's so cool. Now we're going to go in with some Melba blush by MAC. This is a lovely matte peachy shade on a Tiger Boutique blush brush. And smile. So I like to put blush just on your fleshiest part there and just sweep it up into your contour. It's so hard to smile on command, don't worry. Mm-hmm. Some people don't like blush. I love blush. Yeah, I should like really ask my clients if they'd like blush or not, but I don't. I just like put it on and then they love it, so it's fine. I'm going to go in for a highlight with MAC Soft and Gentle. This is really nice for brides because it's not too intense. on an Inglot fan brush. This is the 37R. I'm going to go around all those edges now with another clean 6SS brush with a warm shade. I'm going to go in with 335 by Inglot. This is a lovely burnt orange shade. It's matte. Look up there for me. Now, for brides as well, I really like to use one of these shades by Inglot, like 154. It's just like pewter. It's really like just lovely metallic shade. So if you put warm browns and stuff around the outside and then put like a cool tone metallic on the lid, it matches every eye. It matches whatever you decide to do with your bridesmaids or flowers or whatever. You know, just it's really neutral, it's lovely. See, just gives a little pop, but nothing too crazy. And I'm going to use a bit of our Soft and Gentle highlight by MAC just in the tear duct in here, just in the hollow. In here is our most hollow point, so if we brighten that up, it makes your eyes look way bigger. And I'm going to do that under the arch of the brow as well. Just under here, not all the way, just under the arch. I'm going to go in with an Inglot 17 TL brush. This is like a real haired angle brush with just a little bit of 329. It's dark brown eyeshadow by Inglot as well. Just going to go around the edges of the brow. Okay, so I'm going in now with 854 lip liner by Inglot. This is a brownie nude, and I'm overdrawing slightly. Nothing too crazy like I usually do. I do like to overdraw, but I think on your wedding day it's the one thing that can look bad, you know. So even though it is glam, don't go overboard on your wedding day. We'll overdraw really slightly, just to give the symmetry to the lips, make them a little bit more full. And I'm using Viva Glam 2 by MAC. This is my favourite lipstick for brides. It's a lovely cool toned nude. And again, goes with absolutely everything. And every skin tone as well, I think. I'm not overgone on warm tones on the lips, those orangey ones. I prefer the cool tone ones. And then, spritz with some Urban Decay setting spray. Now, close to me. This is like hairspray for your face. In a good way. In a good way. So don't be scared, it's not hairspray. Yeah. And that's pretty much it. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay, let me